Hi, Hannah. what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Alone Together Pittsburgh, streaming at you live from, obviously, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are embarking tonight on episode 150 of this, the little streaming show that could or couldn't, depending on who you talk to. That's it. We're wrapping up week 49, episode 150. We are actually starting now. The show is actually starting now. The animal break got us started. It's like a warm-up act, you know what I mean? To get you, the audience, comfortable. Gina, you should know by now. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in for the last 150 episodes, or if it's your first time, thank you for welcoming us into your home and mobile devices. We started this show, obviously, 49 weeks ago, right around the time the shelter-in-place order came down from the state. We wanted to keep a sense of community going with people from Pittsburgh and beyond. The show kind of blossomed from just artist-centric to everybody-centric, and that continues tonight. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. We've got Natalie Bencivenga is going to be here with the 5 Minutes With. Then we have the man himself, Dave BRACEY, is going to be here talking local brews and local booze. Whatever he's gotten into this week, he's going to talk to us about it and whatever else is on his mind. So that's going to be great. I know we advertised. We did have to... we lost a guest tonight. She will be back again soon. Midge Crickett wasn't able to come on the show. So if you're tuning in for Midge, I'm sorry she's not going to be here tonight, but we might have some other musical enlightenment at one point. But before we get started, I want to let you guys know this is the Bunny Cam. We'll be checking in on Bunny periodically. Bunny Lebowski, the dog. She's going to be sitting here watching the show, and we can kind of gauge what the audience is feeling from that. Okay, so there is Bunny. Dig that. So another thing here. So we wouldn't be talking about this show if we wouldn't be here doing the show if it wasn't for a pandemic. And just to keep some statistics coming at you, the COVID numbers in Allegheny County today we're 257. That's right, Pete. Can you hear me? You want to chime in on these numbers?
I don't know what's going on with the numbers.
Okay, great. There's a mute button that you can hit.
I don't know why I'm on. It's probably because the bunny cam's here.
All right, so there's 257 new cases in Allegheny County, which is good in comparison to last month. We still need to get those numbers down. The best way to do that is to wear a mask, maybe two. They're recommending you wear 2 masks now, so if you can double up. Don't be a jag. Put on a mask. Anyone could agree with me. Bruce Springsteen would agree with me. But that said, one other piece of housekeeping ticking below me on the screen right here is our Venmo. If you have the means to kick in a couple of bucks, we would greatly appreciate it. It is @TogetherPGH. That is also our PayPal. And some new news for you. We're on Twitch now as well. So even if you can give a buck, it would go great. It goes directly to the artists involved in the show on any given night. We would greatly appreciate that. So if you give little, big, whatever, if you give $500 or more, you get to be a guest on the show. So I don't know. You might be interested in that. This is Snacks. If you give $500, you get to come on the show when Snacks is on the show. How about that? So anyway, thank you very much for paying attention. We got to get rolling with the show, but before we do that, we have to do a little thing called the Engine House 25 LIL JAG off poll. This is brought to you by Engine House 25 Winery. If you go to eh25.com, you can check out their wide selection of wines. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because they're a sponsor. I will put this wine up against any wine anywhere. The grapes come from Napa, Chile, everywhere in between, and they're hand-selected and bottled, pressed. All the steps are going through at Engine House 25 right there where Lawrenceville meets the Strip District in Doughboy Square. They've also got some sweet merch. You can check it out. They've got 8 or 9 different wines. They've got blends. They've got Sauvignon Blanc. They've got Chardonnay. They've got Rosé. They've got all kinds of stuff. And as you can tell by some of the sports-centric labels on some of the bottles, it is also home to the Roberto Clemente Museum. So check that out. Actually, all those people that you saw in there have actual wine that you can buy. So get on that. They're also doing free curbside and free delivery. It's not free curbside. They're not charged for curbside. I'm sorry. But if you say Alone Together Pittsburgh, you get $5 off per bottle. So check out eh25.com. But we have a little in-show poll, little timing-centric one. Dave, you want to tell them what it is?
It's the Lent thing. Dave, he keeps throwing me into this. He's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. But I don't have the Dave Mansueto, sweetness, you know.
Well, we know that without being told, man. Just fire it up. Just let your free flag fly.
I just kind of hope maybe I could stall a little bit and he'll just come in and save the day, you know, like the superhero that he is. Dave, any chance of this? Dave?
Hey,
You're on your own, sweetheart.
episode 150 and episode 1. There's really no way to tell the difference. Like, the world is evolving. We are not. It's actually 2004 here, Alone Together Pittsburgh. We haven't gotten past that, including the references.
The technology is mid-90s.
This is good. I like it.
And the boys are mid-90s, too.
Hey! So, Dave, I hear you talking. Do you want to take this from Pete?
I'm trying to bring this thing up. You guys got a cover for me.
Okay,
You know what
so
I mean?
check
It's
this
Friday,
out. So
we're
check this out.
scrapping.
It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Lent. Last night we did a little fish fry thing, and we gave you a little teaser for next week's deep dive into Lent. So tonight we're gonna do like what you give up for Lent kind of a thing, right? So we have 4 options for you: A, B, C, and D. If you're on Facebook, you can see it right there. If you're listening to the podcast only version of the show tomorrow, you're screwed, man. You can't do it because the poll's going to be over. It's live right now. So, Pete, do you want to tell them what the options are, or do you want me to take that? Okay, go.
So
for
we
it.
got what do you give up for Lent? So if we start with the junk food, the sweets, the sugars. You know, that's what most people go with, I think. At least that's what I did when I was a kid. The booze. Do people give up the booze for Lent? The swearing, the cursing, the motherfucking, the shits, the dams,
easy on the F word.
Bitches.
Easy on the F word.
And then there's religion. And
things you give up for Lent. So those are the 4 options. Get on it. Get on it while the getting's good. There we go. We already have somebody is giving up sugar, junk food, but the 86% is giving up. Nadili, yes, thank you very much. Who let this happen? I have no idea. This is true. I don't know how we got to 150 episodes. But
well, I mean, technically, this could be considered to be on our former presidents.
Take it easy. Take it easy. All right. Well,
I had a lot of coffee today. Sorry, Pat.
I can tell, buddy. You're on fire. You're like Pete. Like the other couple of days, it's just been like we cut to Pete. It's just like,
yeah.
Today, there's words. It's coming out. There's energy.
I had maybe 2 or 3 cups this morning, and then.
So, what kind of coffee were you drinking?
I was drinking the Red Start Roasters espresso.
So check this out. Here's something else fun about Red Start Roasters. If you go to redstartroasters.com, use the coupon code TogetherPGH, you'll receive 10% off your order. And they're the only bird-friendly coffee roaster in the Pittsburgh area. They've got a brick-and-mortar spot in the East End right now. You can get on there and get it done. You go to redstartroasters.com. They're doing free delivery during the pandemic. All right. So Jackie Page, not a damn thing, not sacrificing in life anymore. I get that, Jackie. I mean, we've all been sacrificing a lot. Well, most of us are sacrificing. Some of us are like going to Cancun, but like some of us are sacrificing and getting this going. On behalf of mothers everywhere, okay, there we go.
I'm glad Gina's back in the mix here.
Yeah, Gina, we missed you. We missed you, Gina.
We've gone far too long without getting checked by the.
Yeah, so Gina Gina Mungo has been our like a heckler, if you will, keeping us in line as you do, like you do. So that's cool. So the vote's there. You know where to get the coffee. You know where to get the wine. You know, and we're ready to. Okay, so the giving up religion is taking a hold here right now.
Big lead, jumping up.
It's taking up the big lead.
Tells us a lot about the demographic of our audience.
Well. Yes, you're correct. Okay, so anyway, just keep posting that up anytime anything goes. Well, all right, so I think we've gotten off track. We do have Natalie Bencivenga doing a 5 minutes with coming up here in a second, and then later in the show we've got Dave Bracey coming back. Next week is shaping up to be a fantastic week as well. So be sure we're back on Wednesday after tonight for the start of week 50, because we were going to do bells and whistles for the 150th episode, but we're like, screw it, just screw it. We're here. Check out Pete's fingers. All right, there we go. That's not Pete's fingers. All right, so that's good. So they're tuning up. Maybe they'll be our musical guest tonight. But right now, I think we should get to the meat and potatoes of the show. Here she is right now. She is doing another 5 minutes with. Let's see who it's with.
Hey everyone, welcome to another segment of 5 Minutes With. I'm your host, Natalie Bencivenga, and this week I have the honor of having Dimmi with me. They are the program director at True T Pittsburgh, and they've just started a new initiative, which I'm so excited about, called Breaking Binary. Thank you so much for joining me, Dimmi.
Thank you so very much for having me.
So can you tell everybody a little bit about this new program initiative, Breaking Binary?
Yes, Breaking Binary was originally a focus group that we're going to have live at our studio here at True T Studios in Bloomfield. We wanted to bring in together queer individuals who are interested in, just exploring things that they were allowed to explore while they were in the confines of their gender. And we just wanted to branch upon that. And since COVID happened, we decided to make it an online event. I tried Zoom a while, but I'm just not good at Zoom. So we decided to make a recorded show that we're going to release every Thursday, every 2 weeks.
That's wonderful. And actually it just launched yesterday, correct?
Yes, it's the first episode came out yesterday, chapter 1, and I'm so excited for everyone to explore and see what we have in store for everyone. I'm excited to make new things every week, so it's fun to develop, and it's rewarding to bring awareness to non-binary people.
That's so wonderful. And from your own perspective, can you talk a little bit about your journey and how it led you to this place of working with True T and creating programming like this?
Yeah, growing up in my hometown, I grew up in a very, very small town called Wellsville, Ohio. Lots of cornfields, lots of cows, very small hill. We have one street light. So I wasn't very, I didn't get to see very much in the LGBT community until I moved to Pittsburgh, and I was able to explore myself and learn who I am. A lot of my childhood, I wasn't able to express myself out of fear of, like, I already had enough for being a Black child in, in a very racist area. But it was too much for me to want to explore my sexuality or my own gender or my own identity along with being Black in this area. I didn't want to destroy myself. So it was very rewarding to be able to move to Pittsburgh. And as soon as I moved to Pittsburgh, I met some wonderful, amazing friends. And they're all my friends to this day. And they created True T like a few years after we became friends. And I've been helping out with True T ever since then. And I'm so thankful to be able to work with my best friends here at the studio. Like, it's really so rewarding. And I get to help my community and help the children in my community. Like, really, the youth are really, like, so deprived in so many different ways. They don't get to even learn the world because they don't get to be taught the world. So it's good to be able to have this opportunity to teach people my views of the world and how genderless people might view things.
No, that's so fascinating and interesting. And it really, you said so many things that just sparked my mind about how the collective really looks at gender and how there is so much, not only misinformation around gender identity, but also just this sense of that you have to stay in these confines and these walls are here for a reason. But historically, that's not always been the case, right?
Right. Like I know, like, the word boy wasn't even invented for until 150 or maybe 200 years ago. Like, most children were all seen as girls. All children wore dresses. Men wore dresses. Women weren't allowed to wear pants. Like, if you sent any woman today back 100 years ago, they would find them to be a non-binary person, in my opinion. If they're wearing pants, that's something that women did not do. So it's there's so many little things in our lives that we go through that we're not allowed to do, or we tell ourselves not to do to stay in our gender confines. So I just want to put that a lot, and it's a lot.
And speaking of a lot, you know, when we saw the backlash that Dr. Rachel Levine had experienced, you know, she wasn't just being criticized for maybe her policies or how people felt about the direction of her work, but she was really being criticized for being a trans woman. Do you think because of that negativity, the work that you're doing is even more invaluable because we need to be educating people on just basic humanity?
Yeah, there's just some things that you're never going to be able to change. And when it comes to like Dr. Rachel, I feel like it's helped spread the message more than it has hurt. Like people might be talking bad about Dr. Rachel, but she's definitely well respected. People still listen to what she's saying. And Pennsylvania was doing pretty well with her as the head of the health department or whatever position actually was. And then now she's like a part of like the Biden administration. Like I feel like that would not have happened if she was just a regular cis woman and no one cared about her or no one cared about what was in between her legs or anything. So I feel like it's definitely it's negative that people treat her like that. But at the people seeing things that are different or queer to them, it definitely makes you pay attention. So pay attention, world, put on a mask.
Dimmi, do you feel from your perspective that your existence is political, whether you want it to be or not?
Yeah, like I try not to even, like, I don't have to try to be political. Everything, my every breath is political. Like, I don't have to tell you trans lives matter. I live my life as trans lives matter, Black lives matter. I live my life knowing that Black lives matter. I don't have to like tell myself these things because it's already ingrained within me. And I love having the opportunity to be able to ingrain that either self-confidence into other Black and trans people or show other people that you should also ingrain that self-confidence into other Black and trans people or trans people in general or people of color in general.
Why do you think people are so threatened by the idea of there being fluidity with gender and with sexuality? Why do you think there is such
everyone's just terrified of things that they are not used to. When it comes to any aspect, like even in the trans community, a lot of trans women find non-binary people to be harmful for our community. Like even trans women find, well, trans people in general are like stifled within this binary that you have to choose being a trans woman or you're a drag queen or you're a trans. Like they say you're not allowed to call yourself trans if you're not forcing yourself into the binary or trying to be in binary. So yeah, I mean, it happens everywhere you go, even with even within your own community, you can be ostracized.
So at the end of the day, as we wrap up this 5 minutes with, and thank you so much for spending this time with me, I so appreciate you. What is a message that you would just like to send out to the collective, to the ether around us about what it means to be a non-binary or trans person of color in particular?
Well, the very first thing that you need to do is maintain your humanity. Never let anyone disrespect your humanity. That's where you start at. As long as, for me personally, it doesn't really matter if you're calling me a she, a they, or a he. It's all about, are you respecting my humanity? And like, some people might call me a girl to be disrespectful. Some people might call me a boy to be disrespectful, but people also do it just as that's what they perceive me as, and it's not to be disrespectful. It's I just think that we all just need to make sure that we give everyone their due humanity and stop dehumanizing people, because it's so easy to dehumanize a large group of people and dismiss them as crazy or something. And love is needed, and we need to cherish and respect their humanity.
I agree. And love is an action word. So it's not just enough to say it, but I think it's important that we practice what we preach. So thank you so much, Dimmi, for spending more than 5 minutes with me. Thank you.
All right. Another great interview, Natalie. Thank you so much for talking to Dimmi.
Yeah, I found their voice so refreshing and so interesting, even within their own community, having these feelings of being ostracized. I didn't realize that. And to me, it was just another reason that we all just need to stand together and just accept one another for whoever you want to be. As long as you're not hurting anyone, what does it matter, how you want to be identified? Let's just all be nicer to each other. Really was the takeaway.
That would be nice. That would be
nice to be nice.
That would be an ideal that'd be an ideal world, and it seems so easy, right? Mm-hmm. But apparently not. Before we get moving, Jackie Page says, "Love Rocks Cafe celebrating a second anniversary on your 150th episode. I love True T. Congratulations!" And she caters for them sometimes. True T. That's amazing. The mom of this trans person is so important, says Melissa Martin. That's amazing. That's true, Melissa.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic interview. And
Thank you. I love True T. I do.
So do I. They're great.
Yeah. And I've been paying attention to them for a long time. When I was the scene editor many years ago, they were still True T Entertainment. And I remember meeting them and I was just like, these people are amazing. The work that they're doing here is so interesting. And then they kept evolving and kept growing. And now they're doing so much more community-based work with Option U and housing and food pantries and just really trying to support the youth and the trans kids in our community and people of color. I just really admire them. And I'm always trying to give them some love when I can, because I just think they're really special.
Well, I'm glad you did. And it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Too. And it's stuff that you don't really, you don't think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a daily, and this is what's going on. This is a whole other world.
And we were talking a little off camera, Dimmi and I, about the history of gender and how, I think that it's always been this way, but it's not. And to their point, if I had been wearing pants 100 years ago, I would be considered out of the norm and non-binary. And I just thought that was such an interesting thought that I hadn't even really thought of myself. Like, women wear pants all the time and no one questions that at all. And, back in the day, every child wore dresses and that was totally normal. And so I think it's just important that we're always just expanding our minds and thinking outside the binary and helping to break the binary, because it helps us all.
Oh my God. Ellen Mansueto says, does the soul have a gender? Right. So
yeah, we could get really existential real quick on this show tonight. Well, you're welcome.
Well, that's amazing. And True T Pittsburgh, TrueTPGH.com is the website. So check out with how you can get involved with, how you can support everything that they're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else about can't people just be nice? Like, let's just all be nicer. So it's February creeping up on March, right?
I know.
So like that's the 1 year thing for this. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this earlier, and I mentioned like maybe we shouldn't, like, because bad shit's still happening.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's always gonna happen, but like this thing isn't, over. We haven't turned the corner. We know we changed some things around in Washington. Mm-hmm. We know some things are happening, but like we're still here. I feel like we shouldn't move on from 2020 and saying goddamn 2020 until like March 8th to 12th, whenever the lockdown happened. Because I mean, that's my opinion. I'm going to start a campaign for this.
I think you should start a campaign for that, because I actually agree with that. When you were just saying that, I thought, that way we don't have to hate on 2021 yet as being the sequel, the terrible sequel to 2020. We can technically say, no, this year actually started in March when this nightmare truly began. So even though it had kind of been a nightmare before then. But
so we'll kick the can a little bit.
You know what? Hey, they did it in Texas, and look how well that turned out.
Well, if we're talking power grids and
can only kick that can down the road so far.
And first class tickets to Cancun. But anyway,
man.
we could they could go in there for a while. But although I'd love to hear your opinion on this.
I think you know my opinion on it.
But speaking of your opinions, Natalie is also a nationally syndicated advice columnist. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, Natalie, if sometimes you'll you'll give us the honor of maybe talking about one or two of the questions that you've gotten. Did you get anything different this week?
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on rage texting? Do you know about this sort of concept of rage texting?
Unless it's, I know, like people who are, if you're on the other end of me during like a Steeler game, you will see rage texting. But I'm sure there's something else to it that you're talking about.
So what I'm talking about in particular is when someone gets pretty drunk or inebriated, intoxicated, and gets angry at somebody else, or just directs their anger at somebody and sends them pages and pages and pages of rage texts. And that was the concept for one of the questions I got this week. Was it's two women that are in a relationship, and the one really wants to get married and have a family. And yeah, see, she knows rage texting. Exactly. She's aware.
Ideally knows.
She does. And the other partner gets drunk. And when they're drunk, they're belligerent and they send these nasty books of text. And it's getting to the point where now she's doing this sort of raging in front of other people. It's now moved off of text. And now they were at like a family thing and she just kind of went into a rage. And so the question was, what do I do? I'm starting to just sequester us because I don't want her to embarrass herself, but I want to marry her. What should I do? I know. And so, of course, people were just like commenting on this one like crazy because there's so many things happening here. Like clearly there's a problem here with alcohol. I'm not diagnosing anybody as being an alcoholic, but clearly there's something going on when you're drinking and then you're doing this. But also it's like, I feel like when you're drunk, yeah, it just makes you kind of more of who you are. So if this is now starting to happen in public and you're now afraid to bring this person out in public.
So we've jumped, right? So just to see if I'm following this correctly, there was rage texting, right? Which everyone's seen. At least everyone that I know has been on one or the other end of that. So now the rage texting is turning into just being a raging person.
Being a rager, yeah. Okay,
so we're not talking about rage texting anymore. We're talking about like an anger issue here.
Right, but to me, like, if someone is rage texting you, it's really horrible because when you're getting yelled at in the moment, right? Sometimes I think it's easy to dismiss it in this heat of the moment, but when you can go back and look and see and reread and reread and reread something, it's worse in a way because it was on paper in a way. Not that it's paper, but it's written down. So it's just like, I think it's constantly re-triggering this situation. And so now you have like someone yelling at you in front of your family and rage texting you. Like, why would you want to have a family with this person?
Love is love. Oh. Can't describe it. I don't know.
Irrational.
There's some really deep stuff there that I'm sure you can't go into in just one column, right? In one Q&A thing. Yeah, I mean that's rough. Natalie just says rage texting is an unhealthy way to address issues that feels good in the short term, but actually doesn't solve the problem. It's like punching a wall. You know what I mean? It might feel good at the time, but then you gotta patch that hole in the wall. But I don't know. But Tech Week, okay, Melissa's messing with me here. All right, so I don't rage text. It's not rage texting. It's just more just the anger venting about things. It's not raging, but maybe, I don't know. She's talking about me. Melissa's, been working about forever. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like the fact that the fact that it's carrying over into this, where it's not just
other person is trying to basically.
You got an abusive relationship now.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I landed with it. I was like, I think what's really going on here is somebody needs major help. And the other person that is not the rage texter / raging in real life person also needs help because they need to understand why they're not only enabling this, but why they're allowing this and why they would want to be with somebody that does this.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like,
You have another one?
Did we talk about the mother-in-law opening mail?
No.
You like
No,
this one?
but I like this. I like where this is going instead of like alcoholic rage stuff. This is way more this is way more the wheelhouse.
This is where you could really lend your insight.
No. But go on. Talk to me.
So, okay, so I got one a couple weeks ago and I wanted to talk to you about this one because I thought it was so interesting. You know, COVID, right? So people are doing things that they didn't normally do prior to COVID. And I think a lot of that involves maybe your in-laws being around a lot more to watch your kids while you both are trying to work from home because everything is so difficult. So that seems to be the issue here where, you know, they both work from home, the parents, they have a little boy, and the mother-in-law comes over to kind of watch him while they're working all day. Because I think this is my guess from what the letter was, this is like toddler age. So you really, as you know, it's hard to get anything done when there's a tiny one in the house. And if both people are working like 40 hours a week, it's tough. So the mother-in-law has been around and she thinks it's acceptable to open their mail and not only just like open their mail, but like go through the mail, comment on the mail, question the bills, like full on.
It's no good.
So the daughter-in-law, of course, is like, this is not acceptable. And so she said, like, can you not do this? And the mother-in-law basically told her to butt out, that this is her son, you know, and this is his home. And if she wants to go through his mail, it's fine. Well, I know. So I was like, oh my God, there's so much going on here. So then the wife was like, what do I do? Because this woman is not listening to me, but we kind of need her here to watch our kids, so I can't.
And it's somebody's mother. I mean, it's not just it's just for in-house help. There's other things going on here.
Right.
There's like you can't. It's like you don't want to disown the parent, but
right. Is she drinking? Maybe she's also rage texting. Who knows? This could be all the same person. We have no idea.
It's all a flat circle at AskNatalieAdvice@gmail.com.
It all comes back together. It's all just one crazy person. Yeah. So I said, I think that the son is the one that needs to put his foot down here because clearly she's not listening to the daughter-in-law about boundaries and there needs to be boundaries. And I said, until he's able to kind of figure out what to do with her, the only thing you can really do is like hide the mail before I mean, what else can you do? And somebody emailed me and said, well, you missed an obvious solution. Get a PO box. Well, that's not like, who wants to get a PO box? Then you have to go to the post office to get your mail that's ridiculous. Like, tell your mother-in-law she needs to back up, but it's not my mother-in-law, so I didn't have to tell her. I wouldn't want to be in that room when that happens.
That's one of those like, hey, please stop going through the mail. Like, just like,
how do you?
All right, just please stop going through the mail. And if they still do it, it becomes a thing.
It's a thing, but that's where they're at. Like this isn't
like you know the mother-in-law making the bed or rearranging the furniture. This is somewhat of a violation here.
Yeah, technically federal offense.
It's a federal crime. She could do time for this. Anyway.
So it's just like I think because you know in general people's boundaries during COVID. In one way, we have more boundaries than ever before, and in another way, I think these boundaries have become more muddled. So it's a very
Donna just chimed in and said this is a scenario in a home that she knows.
Oh, maybe
the daughter-in-law says it's a cultural issue.
Perhaps I don't know what culture finds it acceptable to read people's mail that doesn't belong to them.
Art has an idea. Just as somebody has to send a big bag of gummy penises to his house. Just start mailing stuff from different addresses. Exactly. Just like from glitter bombs to like stuff that smells bad. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well.
You just never know what's gonna come in the inbox when it comes to people sending questions, and I appreciate everybody's question. And what I try to do, and you know, of course, we're making light of some of this stuff now because it's ridiculous. But in the moment, I really do try to take it seriously and try to look at it therapeutically and thoughtfully because it takes a lot of guts, I think, to email a stranger that you're having problems in general. So I do appreciate everybody that sends their letters.
And we appreciate you and all that you're doing. So Natalie, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Fantastic 5 minutes with again. And we're going to see you on a different day next week. You're going to be here Wednesday.
That's right. I will be here Wednesday.
So you're going to see 5 minutes with on Wednesday
Right,
on a different time slot. So for the kickoff of week 50 of Alone Together.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Natalie, thank you so much. Get some rest, and we'll see you in a few days.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Natalie. And again, got any questions? AskNatalieAdvice@gmail.com. So, all right, so we're rolling along here. Bunny, everything good? Okay, it seems like everything's good with Bunny Lebowski, the dog. Is there a way we can check in right now? Is there any way we can check in right now?
What are you checking in with?
On the poll, Dave.
On the poll.
The poll.
Let's check in on the poll. Coming right up. How about a little poll music?
All right, there it is. Hit it. All right.
Like religion's just religion's
running away with it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. So speaking of booze, which got a vote there, we're gonna parlay this into our next segment here. It's Friday night. We're gonna see what's on his mind and see what he's drinking. Let's check in with local brews with Dave Bracey. Oh, what's going on?
What's good, y'all, man? How y'all feeling tonight?
I'm feeling all right. You got some new theme music, some new entrance music.
Yeah, I felt like I was going to another dimension or something. Like I didn't know if the weed was kicking in weird. Like I didn't know what was going on. But I'm glad I wasn't tripping too heavy. Oh man. So how y'all feeling, man? This is it's been a week. Like hell hasn't frozen over. But Texas
has.
did. And I mean, it is wild seeing how like something like weather in that regard affects a region. Like I didn't realize they didn't have like snow trucks and shit. Like so it's weird because sometimes I feel like Pittsburgh doesn't have snow trucks. You know what I mean? In the way that they don't take care of some of these streets or whatever. But these, like, they don't even have, like, they don't even think about it. It's just like not a thing that they're like, why would we even spend the money on it? So like, I mean, and it's wild because they got all those pickup trucks down there, and you would think that somebody would like be like cleaning up right now, throw a little shovel on top of that or whatever. But I mean, why would you invest in a shovel in a place that don't have snow ever? Like, it's just.
But so I saw a video of Texarkana, right, on the borderline of Arkansas and Texas, and one roadway goes one way, that's Texas, the other way goes in Arkansas, right, in Texarkana. Arkansas, salted clean, like nothing happened. Other side of the medial strip was literally just like Alaska. You know what I mean? What I would imagine Antarctica might be better than Alaska, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think local elections matter. I think voting matters, and I mean, your leadership. Are you gonna vote for the guy that's gonna pave your roads or take a flight to Cancun? You know what I mean? Like it's a decision you got to make these days, man. And it just seems increasingly it seems increasingly easier to kind of like figure out who gives a fuck in some way. Or at least feigns giving a fuck, and who's just like that mayor was like, the mayor was like, he was ranting about like he was ranting like, we ain't gonna save you, the government isn't here to save you, like that. Like, how did you run on that ticket? How did you get elected on the I'm not gonna do shit for you campaign? That was like, no, I won't. Was that your campaign speech? That makes no sense.
Well, me and that mayor have one thing in common. We're both unemployed right now.
And that's what's crazy, right? Because it's not like he said it knowing he had the political capital to get through it. Like, he said it and then immediately folded. Like, the very next day was like, all right, shop's closed, I'm out. Like, that was one, it was a wild ass statement, and two, it was like, and nobody asked him for it. Like, he like willingly gave this up on Facebook, and then retired immediately afterwards. It was like who, why, like I don't know. I could only chalk it up to white privilege. Like, it's so like folks are just like, I can say whatever and get away with it. I mean, motherfuckers did raid the Capitol and got away with that shit. So what's a Facebook post? You know what I mean? Like, it's
that was some crazy stuff. And then the more you find out, right? All the stuff that they've been kind of hiding, like we don't want to be on the power grid for the rest of for the other 47 states. We want to be on our own. There's the East, the West, and Texas. We don't want to we don't want to winterize all of our shit. We don't want to put our power lines deep enough so that if a cold snap we want to deregulate everything. And then they complain about the windmills. Right? The windmills froze, and the Green New Deal's not going to work. Those windmills are in Antarctica, okay? They don't freeze because they're winterized. They didn't want to go through the things. It's like literally in the poles. That's how they get power in the North and South Pole.
Yeah, no, I you know, when you talk about deregulation, man, I blame Reagan for a lot of ills in America. And he just keeps tallying up the shit, man. And you think it's all fun and games until the motherfucking snowstorm comes through, and you know what I mean.
I got friends that stuck it out. The power came back on. All their pipes burst instantly and flooded their houses. Like in Texas right now. Like it was like they were like, "Oh, we're cool. We made it through." And then the power kicked back on. And it was just like boom. It's just water coming in from the ceiling, like total. Massive water damage.
Yeah, somebody said to me, you know, and a few folks have been saying it or whatever, but I was talking, you know, and they were saying, you know, it's like a third world country, and it's not like a third world country. It's like America. Like, I mean, that is what America is. Like this, you know, climate change is going to continue, and you know, as long as we, you know, continue this wealth gap, you're going to see folks that don't have enough to get through, and people who are going to shortchange. And things like this have been happening in the hood of northern cities for years. Like, you know, you go to the hood, Michigan, like shit, Pittsburgh, like, you know, you go to any hood in America, and there's a sustained like cold spell. Eventually, water pipes freeze. You know, you got the deadbeat landlords that aren't, you know what I mean, like doing what they need to do. And the people who are most affected by that are the poor folks. And, you know, you see these cold spells where, you know, the roads aren't taken care of, you know, the public transportation stops, you know, pipes break and bust, water mains bust, and, you know, the haves, all of that is kind of like, you know, attended to and taken care of, and you know, making sure that you know, there's some prevention in there. But you know, I've been in projects where, you know, there's multiple families all huddled up in a single place because they didn't have the means to survive the winter elsewhere because of the failures of the system. So you know, it's not a third world country. Like what we're seeing now isn't third world country shit. It's been America for a while. It's just starting to affect people that are outside of what we had considered the comfort zone of suffering. I mean.
Well, all this stuff makes me want to have a drink, and and I see you with some Quantum Spirits there.
This is so. I shout out to Quantum, the local. I have not had a chance. This is the first bottle I've actually had of theirs. I didn't even know they were making whiskey. I thought they were just like vodka and gin.
They got a good rye.
Yeah, well, this is their rye.
I couldn't see that.
At least one of their ryes. Right. It's Solera, and it's damn good. So it's young, and it's got a little bit of that. It's a little bit of that young harshness to it, but the flavor profile of it is phenomenal, and it makes a damn good old fashioned. And today I actually went out. So I got into old fashions here on the show whenever we had some from King's Fly, right? So ever since then, I've been, man, I mean, this show has got me into some of these alcohols. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I got some Liberty over there, some tequila and some watermelon water, you know what I mean? Like, but I got introduced to old fashioned. I'm like, man. And so I actually went out to the liquor store, got some bitters.
You went real.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I mean, this is like some old English. I mean, it's old as shit when the wrapper is larger than the bottle. Like it's more important to put this motherfucker's like signature. He's dead. I don't know who this dude is. He's dead as hell, but we need his signature or it's not legit apparently. And it's like the Queen's stamp on that motherfucker. Like I was surprised this shit was so cheap. It's got gold foil over here in the middle. Like this might be currency in some places. I have no idea.
It's all about the packaging.
Man, this is wild, but it's delicious and got the simple syrup.
Oh yeah.
And I guess these two, and then some orange peels. Now I ain't got orange peels, so I threw a little bit of orange juice in it. I just figured, a little drop,
like a little splash.
Just a little, just to let him know he was there. You see what I'm saying? You got orange bait that motherfucker, right? But yeah, I mean that's it's a nice color. A little ice in there. It's delicious, and it's a I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm sure everybody knows what an old fashioned is.
Right.
I didn't. I really didn't until I guess today. Really, I looked up the recipe for it. I thought it was going to be extremely detailed and in depth, and it wasn't. It was very simple. And shout out to Clone because the rye that like the flavor profile in this rye really sets it off. I've had a few of these old fashions with different whiskeys, and
they're right there in Carnegie, right?
Yeah, they're right there in Carnegie. I haven't interviewed them. They got this weird sciencey thing going on. You figure a name like Quantum, it's gonna be sciencey. I have no idea what their whole background is, but like I said, they're making damn good rye whiskey over there.
Awesome.
So shout out to them.
What else you got for us, or is it just a rye day?
No, it's just a rye day, man.
I like it, man. That's good.
I was looking up bitters and figuring out what was in this shit. Like apparently, it's
okay. Could I ask you a question? Did you look up the recipe? Did you look up the instructions or whatever to make this old fashioned, or were you just like winging it?
No, I looked up the recipe, and it said bitters, and
Did it give you a number of bitters, like a splash, or do you have like a measurement?
It said a splash, right? But I don't know what a fucking splash is because when you pour it out, it dribbles, and then you're just like, is that a splash or was that 3?
It's confusing. I
have no fucking clue. But I in my research and figuring out what the fuck is a bitter, I learned that these used to be sold as like tonics. So, I guess at some point when it was made up, they were selling these as like dick juice or, any kind of cure-all or whatever. So, I mean, I'm starting to wonder what finely crushed Viagra might taste like in this cocktail right now. I mean,
I'm okay.
Whether or not
I'm all right. But W.A. Tulahan wants to know what rye pairs best with a fried fish sandwich.
A fried fish sandwich. So it depends on what kind of fried fish sandwich you're getting. Are you getting the church cod? Or are you looking at that fried catfish? You see what I'm saying?
See, if I know W.A. Tulahan, I'm gonna say it's the fish from the church.
Yeah, the church fish. Yeah, I mean, what I had that Liberty Pole rye, very, very nice, very nice local selection. But I mean, I figured like after the first one, it doesn't matter. It stopped. A lot of it stops mattering.
I'm gonna agree with that. But yeah. So thank you for the question, W.A. Tulahan. Not to be named Bill, but yeah, it was so cool. So all right, so you went down the bitter rabbit hole.
I did, man. It's a cocktail. So in every sense of the word.
So the orange peel though, right? I think something to be said about it. I guess a little bit of orange juice is not going to hurt it, but I think that the orange peel, from what I read in the comments section, that the orange zest was supposed to give some of the oils and something else from the peel
Oh yeah, it's definitely not. So it is not in any way, shape, like it's not the same as like. So whenever we was over at King Fly or we got the
Right.
dips from King Fly, and we had the orange peel. It's a different. The oils in there and like there's like the flavor profile is much stronger, and it pops in a different way. I don't know how to explain it, but that oil in it is, and it's natural. It's not a flavor packet. I mean, that's what I'm drinking right now is old orange juice with a flavor packet in it, as opposed to like a real like oil dip. So I mean, it's a little different, but it still adds a little bit of that fruit characteristic to it. That like, and I just learned that I guess maraschino cherries are an alternative. So it gives it a little bit of a fruit flavor profile.
You can also make a Shirley Temple.
Sure. Oh, what is a Shirley Temple? Isn't that?
I believe it's just ginger ale and like maraschino cherry juice and like a cherry. I think that's all it is. It's I could be wrong, but speaking of the church cod sandwich, we've got an in-show poll tonight about what people are giving up for Lent. Where do you fall in this day before we wrap the week? Where are we here with the poll? I think we had sugar, junk food, what people give up, booze, swearing, and religion. People just giving up religion for Lent. So,
shit, man, Lent. Man, that's rough. I would say if I had to choose, if I had to give up something during a pandemic, of those choices, I would have to say sugar and junk food.
Okay.
I mean, but I don't know what you consider junk food. 90% of my diet is fried, so I don't know. But I mean, I love swearing. I love drinking, especially through this pandemic. And I gave up religion a long time ago. So I mean, I would have to say junk food is the one thing I could part with. I mean, a little snag there. As long as I would supplement that with red meat. A lot of red meat and weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all right. Nadili says she's giving up Lent for Lent. Yeah, that's Nadili and Jackie Page are both saying I'm done giving up shit because after the last year, I'm done with it.
I ain't listen, man. If I gotta give it up, like, shit,
That'll mess up the space-time continuum if you give up Lent for Lent. That's dangerous stuff.
It's like crossing the streams. That's like running into your past self when you're time traveling.
It's the wish for more wishes.
Oh yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. It just throws off the whole game. Anyway, as we wrap, Day, we're going to have you on a different night next week. Is that cool? All right. So we will talk about that. We'll be seeing Day at an early day next week because Friday we are going to be doing something different. We are being taken over by another group on Friday. So be sure to...
I heard about the group. I'm a big fan of the group. And tell that group I said hello whenever you...
We can say the name of the group. It's not like a secret.
Oh. Yeah. No, Alicia, she's Miss Carberry. She's a good friend of mine, and I actually guest
at
bartended
Pittsburgh Cares. Pittsburgh Cares, folks.
I guess bartended down at an event at Pittsburgh Cares, and got introduced to a lot of great people, and it just was a great concept that they had put together. So shout out to Alicia and the gang, and that's going to be a dope ass episode.
All right. Well, cool. Well, all right. So we'll be seeing Day early next week. As we wrap up week 49, episode 150 of Alone Together Pittsburgh. Yeah, man. It's stuff's starting to get real. These round numbers keep coming. And I'm like, I remember our 50th episode. And I was like, well, shit, I remember our first episode. And it all, like, talk about its space-time continuum, man. It all blend. It could be yesterday. Obviously,
Groundhog
like,
Day,
we haven't gotten any better at the show either. So it's like, everything's just kind of like in this rut. It's just like we are a time capsule. But anyway, Pete, Dave, you want to come out and say goodbye? You got anything to add? Oh, they're speaking through some sounds. All right, well, while they're doing that, I'm just going to remind everybody to keep wearing your masks. Wear two if you can. These new variations and new strands of this COVID thing are to be taken seriously. let's not fall down the same hole. Keep washing
Don't
hands,
fumble
keep
the
social
ball.
distancing. Hopefully we're over the hump. Get that rolling. Quantum Spirits is great. Props to True T Pittsburgh and Natalie Bencivenga for doing 5 minutes with. Dave, you want to come in and say goodbye? Dave? There you go. All right, Bunny Lebowski. Thank you all very much. Keep taking care of each other. Pete's figuring out new stuff with his sound machines. Everything's going to be all right. See you guys Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We'll have the marketplace at Emerald Valley on for our Farm to Table segment. And we will also have Natalie Bencivenga on Wednesday and maybe Day as well. So check it out, folks. We'll be back. Thank you all very much. And if you're looking for something to do over this weekend, looking for farmers markets, you can go to farmtotablepa.com. You can find out about that, plus a bunch of different things you can get into. Farm to Table PA. Keep it fresh, keep it local. Find out all you need to do about living sustainably. Check them out. Thank you all very much. 150 episodes down. Hopefully not 150 more to go. Thank you all. We're out of here. Thank you.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.